Tonight on 7 News First at 5. Winter weather blasts the United States, and the worst is yet to come. Some of Michael Jackson's former security guards are saying some very nasty things about Michael and about little boys. The air goes out of some Thanksgiving Day floats, but the holiday celebration is a huge success. And holiday shoppers better watch out for crooks.
I'm health specialist Marilyn Mitchell. We're going to show you a high-tech way to pinpoint a deadly disease. I'll have that story.
Live from South Florida's news station, WSVN 7. Sally Fitz and Rick Sanchez. This is 7 News at 5 o'clock.
Thanksgiving Day 1993. Millions of people are getting heaping helpings of snow. Lots of snow. The big chill is on. Good evening, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving. I'm Lynn Martinez in for Sally tonight.
The thing that we need to give thanks for tonight is that we're living in South Florida, because we are one of the few places in the country not getting a blast of winter weather tonight. Parts of the Plain States and the Midwest could get more than a foot of snow tonight. Derek Hayworth is live at the Satellite News Center. He's watching other cities deal with this big chill. Derek, how's it look?
Well, Rick, you know, watching the satellite feeds come in all day, you should definitely be thankful this Thanksgiving Day that you live in South Florida and not the Rockies or the Central Plains. Everywhere, they're frozen in a big chill. And parts of South Dakota already have more than a foot of snow and record low temperatures. In Billings, Montana, the mercury dropped to 28 degrees below zero last night. Omaha, Nebraska isn't quite as cold, but that's a problem too because of all the snow they already have. Slushy roads are now making travel dangerous there. In Salt Lake City, Utah, the roads are so slick even this snowplow skidded and crashed. Ice is the big problem in Kansas City, Missouri. Cars slipping and sliding all over the place, accidents everywhere. A school bus slammed into a tree, all the kids and the driver on the bus slightly injured. And in Denver, where people are used to this stuff, 4 inches of snow came so fast, traffic, well, on the ground was ground to a halt, and traffic trying to get off the ground and into the air is suffering long delays at Stapleton Airport. Some people in Denver, of course, don't mind all of this. On the slopes, more snow means more fun and more cash.
2 years ago, we actually had a record Thanksgiving weekend in terms of skier numbers, and last year we also had high numbers, so we expect that Coloradans are eager to ski and that they'll come out in force this weekend, especially with all of the new snow.
Well, at least somebody is enjoying it, but these storms are still moving south tonight, and freezing temperatures could hit Texas later this evening. Live from the Satellite News Center, I'm Derek Hayworth. Back to you.
I guess, after all, it is Thanksgiving. Derek Hayworth following that story for us. And coming up a little bit later, we're going to go to one of the places usually hit hardest by the weather this time of the year, the city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. We'll bring that report at 5:30.
Elsewhere around the country and here at home, scenes of Thanksgiving. It is as much of a part of the holiday as turkey dinner. The 67th annual Macy's Parade ushers in this holiday season in New York City. More than 2 million people braved 20-degree temperatures to see the bands and the big balloons. And as always, the 5-story high helium balloons were the crowd pleasers. And this year, they're providing some low points as well. Some balloons, including poor Bart Simpson, were actually torn and partially inflated. Bummer, dude.
Closer to home, the annual Winter Parade is held in North Miami. As you can probably tell, the theme this year was the comics. Everybody from Batman and Wonder Woman to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles marched down Northeast 125th Street.
And everywhere in South Florida today, the traditional Thanksgiving feast. Homestead was just one of the places where the Salvation Army and other groups fed thousands of the needy people who might not have a chance on the holiday today. The Florida Panthers hockey team was on hand at this gathering to help serve and share in that celebration. And there are many people in South Florida who are giving thanks for something they never had before, and that is freedom. Tonight, the story of 2 groups of immigrants and their first Thanksgiving. They are Soviet Jews and Cuban rafters. 7's Craig Stevens is in Little Havana right now with this story. Craig?
All right, Lynn, first of all, we're in Alapata, but I'll just set the record straight on that. And let me first of all say we hope you enjoyed your holiday, you and yours. We're certainly doing that here in Alapata. Let's go on over to the table here. You can see a traditional turkey meal being served up right now. All the fixings are here. We're actually at the Bolseros house with 18 Cuban rafters. Refugees, some of them made it here to the United States, to South Florida, in this raft right here. Just an incredible voyage. I'm sure you can imagine trying to make it here and that. But as you can see, they're here. They're at the table. They're enjoying this meal. And I can tell you, because we've been to several places today, that this is a scene that is playing out all over South Florida today. Let's have a look.
Happy Thanksgiving.
They may not be able to say it very well, but you can see it in their eyes. This is a very special day, a first Thanksgiving.
Well, they're thankful that they're here in the United States, and everybody's been wonderful to them. And this is really their first Thanksgiving, and they really are enjoying it very much.
They are 60 refugees from the former Soviet Union, doctors, lawyers, engineers, all of them on hand today at Shooters, North Miami Beach, to share in the spirit of the season and give thanks for the world of opportunity now before them.
I think they're very thankful that they made it here in this country, that we have food in abundance, that we have a life here that can be very prosperous and very generous.
And as we come back out here live, you can see it's a traditional meal with a new twist somewhat, some Cuban beans and rice and turkey. We're told some of these guys here have never had turkey before, so a lot of firsts here on this day. And what a better way for these folks here and the folks in North Miami Beach you just saw for all of them to begin their new lives here in South Florida. Again, hope everybody out there is having a terrific holiday. We're live now, Pat. I'm Craig Stevens, 7 News. Back to you.
All righty, thank you, Craig. And we'll be taking a closer look at other Thanksgiving celebrations and events later on at 5:30 and 6.
So questions of testimony of a woman who claims that it was intentional. A Florida girl was switched at birth with another baby. That nurse's aide said it was no accident. That Kimberly Mays was sent home with Barbara Mays. She said sorry for Barbara Mays because she had cancer. That record showed Mrs. Mays' cancer wasn't that. Later, not Kimberly's biological parents, Regina Twigg, won a criminal investigation into the story. Last summer, Kimberly divorced the Twiggs, saying the man who brought her up is the only father that she has ever known. A North Dade family getting ready to enjoy Thanksgiving together, making a gruesome discovery. A plumber trying to find out what was wrong with the septic tank came across a human skeleton just outside the house of 184th Street in North Dade. Police have been called to the scene now. They have no idea where the skeleton came from or how long it's been there. Clues possibly. News crews arrived on the scene, as you might imagine. Bringing their latest on.
An argument to a shooting at a Northwest State supermarket this morning in the parking lot at the Winn-Dixie on Northwest 27th Avenue and 95th Street. Cops say a man and a security guard fought over a parking spot, and that's when police say that security guard pulled out his gun and started shooting into the air. No one got hit. So far, no charges have been filed. In Sweetwater, a man is shot in the face and he dies. Police say his 17-year-old girlfriend is the one who did it. It happened at Northwest 111th and First Terrace in Sweetwater. Police say the girl has admitted to the shooting. She says it happened during a domestic dispute. Her boyfriend was airlifted to JMH, and that's where he died.
A man who escaped from Dade County Jail back behind bars tonight. Police officers say Leroy Herring escaped last night, went to a nearby apartment complex and held some people there hostage. They weren't hurt. Herring was recaptured. Officials say they used some sort of tool to pry their way out of jail for Herring. Herring is in jail for the attempted murder of a police officer. More problems tonight for the man they called Dr. Death. Dr. Jack Kevorkian dragged into jail earlier this month. He bonded out and then allegedly assisted in another suicide. Tonight, a prosecutor is saying that Kevorkian got lethal carbon monoxide gas from an associate. That gas allegedly was used in several suicides Kevorkian assisted in, according to investigators. Now, Kevorkian could be charged with violating Michigan's suicide law. In that case, he would be sent back to jail.
A close call for a Continental Airlines jet at DC-9 going from Houston to Phoenix has to make an emergency landing in Austin, Texas, after fire breaks out in one of its engines. The plane had 108 people on board. All were evacuated safely. And some very tense moments on board an American Airlines plane in Minneapolis. Apparently, the pilot wasn't sure if his landing gear was down or not after an indicator light went on in the cockpit. The jet had to dump fuel and circle the airport before making an emergency landing. Turns out the gear was down and everybody on board got out safely.
Well, tonight, two of Michael Jackson's former security guards are saying Michael is bad. They claim they saw Michael Jackson spending nights with little boys. 7's Kelly Mitchell is following this story for us. It's a story that gets more intensive as we tell it. She's in the newsroom. Kelly, what's going on now?
Well, Rick, even on Thanksgiving, we have a Michael Jackson update. The story just keeps on growing. We're talking about 2 of Michael's security guards saying Michael routinely spent the night with, quoting here, little friends. In one case, the guards say one boy was only about 9 years old. The guards made these comments to the tabloid TV show Hard Copy. And guards saying Michael often kept his child visitors overnight in his bedroom. Guards also say they never saw him spend the night with an adult. As we all know by now, Michael is being sued by a 13-year-old boy who claims Michael had a 4-month sexual relationship with him. March court date has now been set in the civil suit. Question is, why are the guards talking now? Well, they claim that Michael fired them because they knew too much, and they also say they were the ones who took that 9-year-old straight to Michael's room after his parents dropped him off at Michael's house. More to come, obviously. Live in the newsroom, I'm Kelly Mitchell. Back to you.
Unfortunately for Michael Jackson, a lot more. Thank you, Kelly Lynn.
'Tis the season for shopping and rip-offs. Holiday hoodlums are out there in force. We'll tell you what you need to know in our next half hour.
And call it the holiday spirit. Volunteers reaching out to people who need it most during this Thanksgiving day.
New technology detects a killer cancer before it spreads. I'm health specialist Marilyn Mitchell. The details straight ahead, only on 7 News.
And on First Weather, here comes all that cold air that's been producing the snow around the nation's midsection. We'll have the details coming up in the weather segment.
You're watching Channel 7 News at 5 with Sally Fitz and Rick Sanchez.
Channel 7 News brought to you in part by your South Florida Nissan dealer, where customer satisfaction is standard equipment.
A high-tech way to pinpoint killer cancer. That story next on 7 News.
And now, HealthCast with Marilyn Mitchell.
Advanced ovarian cancer can be deadly, but new technology is picking up cancerous tumors before they start to spread. Women considered at high risk for ovarian cancer can rest a little easier thanks to this new high-tech screening. Janice Fight has already battled breast cancer. In fact, so have most of the women in her family, including her mother and sister. As a former OB/GYN nurse, Janice knows breast cancer increases her risk of developing ovarian cancer. That's why she is careful to get regular checkups for it.
Oh, it's peace of mind, for one thing. Probably the most important thing for me is the peace of mind. And then, again, it's early detection, which is so important in any kind of cancer.
Ovarian cancer is often called the silent killer because symptoms generally don't appear until after the cancer has advanced. But new technology can catch it earlier.
We're looking at the blood flow to the mass.
It's called transvaginal color Doppler ultrasound. An ultrasound is performed vaginally rather than abdominally to get a closer look at the ovaries and any cysts or tumors that may be present. Then a color flow Doppler shows whether the mass is benign or cancerous by showing blood flow to the ovaries. It is similar to weather radar that shows disturbances.
The color Doppler in the ovary shows the flow to the ovary. And in order for a tumor to enlarge, it has to increase its blood supply.
Using this technology, the percentage of early ovarian cancer detection can rise from 20 to 50%. Janice has the procedure done once a year. Her tests show she is cancer-free.
Just great. I mean, I'm just healthy as a horse.
This technology, however, is very expensive and recommended only for high-risk patients. Women with a family history of ovarian cancer have a 1 in 3 chance of getting it. Women with colon or breast cancer are also at an elevated risk. I'm Marilyn Mitchell, 7 News.
And more medical news tonight. 3 weeks in the womb could mean the difference between life and death for some premature babies. That is the finding of a new study published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Researchers found that babies who spend at least 25 weeks in the womb had a pretty good chance of surviving without any major birth defects. But those born earlier, just after 22 weeks, face a much greater chance of dying.
Desperately needed aid convoys are finally getting through in Bosnia, and that tops our news at 5 o'clock. The United Nations is calling it their first full-court press. Tons of food and supplies are now getting to people all over that war-torn country. New aid routes opened up just last week after Bosnia's warring factions agreed to stop harassing those convoys.
Britain, those two kids convicted of killing a 2-year-old boy are now behind bars tonight. And listen to this. The murdered boy's uncle says if those two 11-year-old boys get out, he will kill them. Those boys, Robert Thompson and John Vendables, were found guilty of murder yesterday. The boys kidnapped a 2-year-old boy from a mall, beat him to death, then left his body on a railroad track.
Egypt, an assassination attempt on that country's prime minister, a car bomb exploding near Atef Sedki, killing one person, hurting 12 others. The prime minister was not hurt. Police say his car had already passed the bomb site.
Somalia, American soldiers are enjoying a real Thanksgiving meal with all the trimmings. This is their first real meal in months. The troops have been eating out of cans since they got to Somalia. More than 22,000 pounds of turkey and 2,000 pies were shipped over from the U.S.
Julia Roberts in the nude? You say it isn't so? We'll tell you the naked truth.
Okay.
Right here at 5:30.
And it's back to school for adults. 7 News at 5. Coming right back.
I'm Jessica Geary in the 7 Newsroom. Coming up at 5:30. Tomorrow is that big shopping day. But you know what? It's also that big thief day. We're going to give you some warnings about holiday shopping coming up at 5:30. Kelly Mitchell joins me for these stories and more.
7 News weather with Roland Stedham.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Here's what's cooking outside. It's the temperature already up to 77 degrees. Relative humidity, 76%. It feels like it's 83 degrees. And wind is out of the southeast at 12 miles per hour. Record cold temperatures. You've seen the stories already. All the snow that's been flying from the Dakotas all the way down into Texas. 2 feet of snow up at Bismarck, North Dakota. And to give you an idea how cold it was, this morning at Old Faithful, Wyoming, it was 36 degrees below zero. Up at Havre, Montana, 23 below, 15 degrees at Lubbock, Texas. And the record cold just continues. In fact, this front is expected to push into the southeastern portion of the country over the next couple of days. And for us, the low that gave us the rain there, yeah, right there it is, just kind of spinning the coast, and it is moving out towards the Atlantic, so it poses no threat to us. Mostly fair skies tonight and tomorrow. We could see just a little isolated shower moving over, but this is the front that we're going to be watching over the next couple of days. This is where it's going to be tomorrow, stretching into the southeastern portion of the country. And then on Saturday, look what happens. The front starts pushing into the panhandle. We could see some showers developing by Saturday night. More than likely, we'll see some scattered showers moving into the area here in South Florida on Sunday, and then cooler temperatures sweeping over the area on Monday. But it's not going to be quite as cold as it has been for the nation's midsection or for the Miami Dolphins. No siree. Mostly fair skies with a low of 70 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, high temperatures hitting the mid-80s. And here's the extended weather outlook. Saturday looks pretty good with fair to partly cloudy skies. A few isolated showers possible on Sunday as the front sweeps through. And then look for fair skies and cooler temperatures moving back into the area on Monday. So that is a look at the weather. And, the marine forecast. We do have time. Thank you, sir. Winds will be out of the east at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running about 2 to 4 feet. And the bays will have some light chops. So that is a look at the weather. Hope that you're enjoying this Thanksgiving. My time is up. I thank you for yours. And we'll see you later.
Tonight's Kids in School report is really about adults in school. College is where thousands of grown-ups are heading back to. 40-year-old Monica Townsend is a mom, a grandma, and a student at Tennessee State University.
20-something years ago when I was at TSU, I was out there having fun, running after my husband. Well, he was my boyfriend then. But it's different now because I'm out there for the right reason. I have set my goals, and I'm going for it.
She's going for a degree in education, and she is 1 year away.
Now, the questions that we will raise and...
Monica pulls in a 3.5 average. Impressive, considering she also works at a daycare center and at night spends time with her son, grandson, and her husband. But Monica is by no means alone. In fact, now 1/6 of all students on American college campuses are 35 or older, and most are women.
They may have gone through a divorce, or they may have been separated, and they decide that they want to better themselves and their family and get a better job.
Part of the motivation is money, but that is certainly not the only reason.
I feel a lot better about myself. That sounds kind of corny, doesn't it? But I do. I enjoy it, and it's fulfilling.
Fulfilling, yes, but frightening as well.
It was very tough to take that first step.
Still trying to be a mommy, working, school. It's difficult.
Difficult, but able to do. That's what older women are now discovering on college campuses. And education officials say 40% of all American college students are now over the age of 25.
He is the South Florida man trapped in Colombia for months now. Tonight his family celebrating Thanksgiving and hoping for his release.
Deadly floods hit Cuba, some of the worst in that country's history.
And the concern about silicone breast implants has an added dimension tonight. Safety of breast milk. 7 News coming back.
Tonight, it's Thanksgiving Fox style. First, go to your room.
Okay, I'll take some white meat and stuffing to go and send up the pumpkin pie in about 20 minutes.
Catch the Simpsons Thanksgiving special. Then drop by Sinbad for the holiday.
This is Grandpa Brian's secret recipe. He almost took us to the grave with him.
If he really loved you, he would have.
The Sinbad Show. And Seinfeld won't be on NBC, so turn to Fox for a full hour of killer comedy. On Living Color, 3 hot comedies, no turkeys, tonight starting at 8/7 Central.
People are getting a very early start on their Christmas shopping, Ricky. Look at all these people in the swap shop in Fort Lauderdale. The swap shop is the only big shopping place open on Thanksgiving, and these folks taking full advantage of it. More than 25,000 people showed up. Parking lots were filled to capacity, and the merchants were ecstatic.
Great place to avoid today, unless, of course, you like crowds and bargains, I guess.
Bargains. Lots of them.
At 7 News at 5 o'clock.
7 News at 5:30 coming up next.
Next on 7 News at 5:30, it's that time of year again. Family, friends, food, and felons. What you need to know when you head to the malls. An army does its part to help others this Thanksgiving. The Midwest takes the brunt of a severe snowstorm. We'll take you there live. And behind the scenes at the Home Shopping Club. Jessica Aguirre, Kelly Mitchell with these stories and much more ahead on 7 News at 5:30.
Channel 7 News brought to you in part by your South Florida Nissan dealer, where customer satisfaction is standard equipment.
Live from South Florida's news station, WSVN 7. Kelly Mitchell and Jessica Aguirre. This is 7 News at 5:30.